Welcome back to Studio F1 Fast Times Willy B. We'll be reviewing Mickey 17. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Mickey. No, Russell.
Welcome back to Fast Times Willy B. I'm Willy B. I've got Kory with me for the 7th, 8th straight episode, but we're having fun here. Kory's pumped out. I just realized today
I'm so tired.
matches last year's total of reviews you did.
What?
Like today, in the first 2 months and a week of 2025.
I've matched how many reviews I did last year.
In 2024.
Really?
Yeah, so you're pumping them out, man.
Woo!
So
Fast times.
2025, very prosperous year for Kory as far as being on the channel goes.
Oh, I am fast times rich.
But
Money poor as fuck, baby.
Yeah. How you doing today?
Money poor as fuck, man.
Hell yeah. I feel it.
But we're rocking out. I'm good.
We got to watch a good movie, so that's
Yeah, we did get to see good
silver
movie.
linings, right?
That's right.
So today we'll be talking about Mickey 17, the latest film from Bong Joon-ho. Cinema sin on my part. This is my first movie of his that I've watched.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know you just checked out Parasite not too long ago, and you've seen Snowpiercer as well. And I've heard nothing but great things from his catalog.
Yeah.
So I definitely, after seeing this one, I'm definitely more intrigued to check it out. They've been on my watch list. It's not like I've been skipping them on purpose.
I've only seen three Bong Joon-ho movies. This is definitely the least indicative of his back catalog, I would say.
Okay.
Even though I did love it, there's definitely a lot of crossover and style and things like that. But for the most part, this is probably his biggest departure from what he's used to doing.
Okay, interesting. But nonetheless, cast-wise, we've got some names, man. We've got Robert Pattinson, who he's made a name for himself, especially in the last few years.
Oh my God, I love Pattinson.
Slowly becoming one of my favorites.
Pattinson is in my top 5 favorite actors.
Yeah, he's. Obviously, I know you love him as Batman, and he's one of. He might be up there when you rank the Batmans, but
he's the best.
I mean, I love him in a lot of other stuff I've seen him in too, and you also get to see his voice range in this one. We also got to see it, with when he stepped into the role of the Heron.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I've known he's been able to act since 2018 ish. Because right before The Lighthouse came out, I watched Good Time. Changed every opinion I've ever had about him. Amazing in Good Time.
Insane in The Lighthouse.
He's so good in The Lighthouse. And so we get some accents there, but the boy and the Heron, honest to God, whenever the Heron was speaking in the trailer, I was like, this has got to be Willem Dafoe or whatever. Yeah. And I see Robert Pattinson as the Heron. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
This guy going, Mojito is Robert Pattinson. That was really good.
Yeah.
No way that was Robert Pattinson.
And then in this one, he's playing obviously every version of Mickey, and almost each Mickey is different too.
He
17 and 18 specifically are very different.
That's what I was going to say is they're all similar. Some of them have a slight cadence with their voice that changes a little bit. Mickey 18 just straight up sounds like Batman half the time.
Honestly. But for other cast members, we've got Naomi Aki, who we got to see in Blink twice last year. So kind of that was my introduction to her. So was excited to see her. We've got Stephen Yeun. We've got Mark Ruffalo, who I've always been a pretty big fan of. Ever since watching 13 going on 30 at a young age.
Yeah.
And then we got Toni Collette as well. But we'll start with the good. And we can just put the acting there to kick it off.
Yeah.
We've already really touched on Robert Pattinson. I don't really have any knock on anyone in the acting department, but in a movie that had very good acting all around, Robert Pattinson was still the standout.
Standout still over everyone. I also thought Naomi was actually very good.
Yeah.
I think she's pretty incredible. I liked her character a lot in this movie, actually.
Yeah, she was a really good supporting character there, playing the love interest, who honestly is just a badass.
Yeah.
Especially in the third act. But Robert Pattinson, I mean, he did it once again for me. He continues to prove that he should be in the conversation when it comes to who are some of the best actors currently.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's always a test of an actor when you see them playing multiple roles. And in most cases, you don't have to play two roles super differently, especially if it's a twin or something like that. In this case, he made each Mickey stand out, which was really cool.
For sure. I mean, you remember them, which is like kind of weird. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
And he was even going back and talking about them too. He's like, he's just smug. He's like more smug than Mickey 9. Like he's going back and talking about
this one was clingy.
Yeah.
And then honestly, I'm going to say the best part about this movie is Mickey 18 constantly being like, what a bitch when he talks about Mickey 17.
Dude, and Mickey 18's character arc.
Oh, yeah.
He went from, like, immediately kill Mickey 17 to, like,
dude,
being the savior.
Oh, dude, what a great character. Yeah. He's my favorite Mickey, for sure.
Yeah. It's between 17 and 18, which, those are the easy picks, I guess, because those are the two you get to see the most of. Yeah. But 17's fun because you get to live inside his brain a lot. Yeah. You get, like, the narration.
I mean, you get to see Mickey Zero a good bit.
Yeah. But 17 and 18 definitely... they just have a good dynamic to them. That's so funny because they're both Robert Pattinson, but he blew me away, man.
It is weird that they do have a good dynamic. That's like that's a weird thing to say about, you watch Tom Hardy like in Legend or whatever, and it's like he's pretty good acting against himself, but Robert Pattinson has actual chemistry with himself. It's weird.
It was really cool. Like you said, Aki was great. I look forward to seeing her in more stuff. I think she's 2 for 2 in my books. As far as the 2 roles she's really taken on that I've seen. Stephen Yeun, not in as much as I thought he would be, but when he was in it, he played his role very well.
See, he was actually in it more than I thought he was going to be in.
Okay.
Because from the trailer, I really thought he was just going to be the guy that like drops Mickey off at places. Because there's a part where he's like, "Hey, what's it like to die?" or whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was going to turn out that like they were best friends and yada yada. I didn't expect any of that stuff. And
then Ruffalo and Colette are playing very... You said it best. You said it's very Poor Things-esque.
Yeah, they're like
very Lanthimos.
They're very like cartoony compared to everybody else. Which you get moments where they're kind of real for a second, but they only kind of act like real people when the other person isn't in the room.
Yeah.
But when they're together, they're hammy as fuck.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I loved their characters. I mean, I thought they were both really cool, like bad guys. It got very political with them, which I thought was a cool touch to the movie as well.
Very subtle.
The cartoony at times, I was like, okay, but I still would put it in the good because they did it well.
I liked the cartoony thing, especially because it reminded me of oh god, what's his name from what's the Christmas horror movie that we watch? It's like Back to the Future, but it has the angel in it. That's the main villain.
It's a Wonderful Knife.
It's a Wonderful Knife.
Very like Justin Long.
Yes, that's what Justin Long. He reminds me of Justin Long because he's overdoing the like, I'm a political leader and I have to seem nicer than I am, and I have these stupid veneers that are way too exuberant and like, and he's always like trying to make himself look like a hero and whatever.
Yeah.
And you see that she's kind of running the show sometimes. And, he's always like, "Do I look good, baby?" Like I loved all that stuff.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's definitely like, I think it fits in the movie, but it definitely, if you hone in on it too much, it's like
kind of over the top.
It's meant to be, but it doesn't mean it's not over the top. Still, it's still over the top.
And then obviously that's the big 5, like the most well-known names we get from this movie.
Yeah.
But honestly, a lot of the supporting cast too. I was really big fan of the scientists.
Yeah, me too.
Our crew, especially
the girl.
The girl was really cool, and then I loved the bigger guy that was apologies, sir, the painkillers are not working.
Yeah, he's constantly like, we have this new thing, and he's like, I'm sorry, sir, it's not working.
Yeah. I'm going to resign my position. And then Mark's like, no, you build on your failures.
And then he immediately fails right after.
Yeah. So I enjoyed a lot of the supporting roles.
I liked Kai a lot, too.
Yep.
I thought Kai was great. And even though it's kind of a short scene, whoever kidnaps them, I should have looked into it. Whoever kidnaps them, who's working for the big boss or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I like that guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's so vague if you haven't seen the movie.
The acting just all around very good.
Yeah, lip piercing guy, you were good as well.
Yeah. Continuing with the good, you got to put effects here.
Effects are very good.
You never know what you're going to get when you start diving into space.
I've noticed there's a couple directors that specifically, I don't know if it's that they know how to film it to where I'm assuming it's this. They know how to film it so the VFX don't have to do as much heavy lifting, or if it's just that they're so like adamant about giving their VFX time. And you know what? Probably a lot of it too is they know exactly what they want. so they can start working on like previs and stuff before they go shoot it. It's probably that, but like certain directors are really good about that, so you just know you're gonna get good VFX product, and then others you can tell just are like, we got to do it now, you know.
Well, the nice thing about this movie too is they did a very snowy planet, so
that covers stuff.
It's more than likely like they went up to like Iceland or Greenland, you know, somewhere that's just covered in snow and shot this movie.
Yeah.
So really, the main VFX are probably mostly the ship. And the creepers.
And that's also how you hide VFX too. Rain and snow makes things easier to get by, not looking great.
But the creepers, I thought all looked really good. They were honestly,
and they get focused on a lot.
Yeah,
too.
and they were honestly cool creatures. That's another thing. I love the line that they're not the aliens, we are.
Yeah.
Because I want to call them aliens, but if you really think about it, they're invading Niflheim, which makes
great line from Naomi. We're the aliens, you fucking idiots.
Yeah. But they were cool, very, very intellectual creatures. And that's another thing, you know, we talked about how you never know what you're going to get with effects and space. You never know what you're going to get, too, when a new creature is being added to the existence of film.
I'm like 50-50 on whether they introduce, like, new creatures you've never seen before.
Yeah, but these were a cool rendition on aliens, for sure.
For sure, yeah. They almost reminded me of, like, the big buffaloes from, like, the Star Wars like original trilogy, you know, but
they gave me
because they're kind of hairy.
I can't think of the name of the characters because I didn't really watch the show. And it's probably gonna upset some people, but Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, Appa.
Yeah, they gave me vibes of him, but more tentacly.
Yeah, more tentacly. Yeah.
Like honestly, the one shot of them reminded me of Krampus for some reason. It was weird.
Oh, yeah, I get what you mean because it's got that real hunchbacky kind of vibe. Yeah, and sometimes they like stand up too.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like they're just wearing a curtain of fur sometimes. Yeah. But they're also kind of like a mix of like centipedes and stuff.
Armadillo-y too.
Armadillo-y. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it is weird.
I would like to see like the inspiration that Ho got on them because there's definitely, you can see, I mean, like you can tell that they're paying homage to Armadillo with the roll in the shell.
Yeah.
They're definitely, you know, paying homage to buffaloes in some way, I would say.
I'm guessing the inspiration came from a little mushroom out in the woods. That's what I'm guessing. Because them things were crazy.
They were cool creatures. The communication device we get with them too was cool. And how they're able to talk to them. Honestly, if you're interested in science, this is a really cool movie to watch.
It's a cool science movie.
Because, I mean...
They think about a lot of the stuff that
that's
they say.
the cool part. Like,
I couldn't tell you if it's accurate.
The point of Mickey is to just push the envelope and him being an expendable and, like, getting to watch some of that stuff like, okay, how can we figure out a serum that can allow us to breathe on this planet? What are these creatures? How can we develop something to talk to them? Like, what's the purple paste? Like, just all of these different things you get to learn throughout this movie. You know, for a movie that's 2 hours and I think 17 minutes, you do learn a lot of world building and you learn a lot of lore, all while still being in a very action-packed setting.
It's definitely like a sci-fi action comedy.
Yeah,
I guess
I would say those are the big three of the genres for this film for sure.
But there's definitely a lot of drama in it too.
Yeah,
so it's like
you're gonna laugh, you're gonna ooh, you're gonna ah, and you're gonna learn some stuff. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Great direction.
Yeah,
great cinematography.
Great set design too.
Yes,
I think the sets were actually pretty incredible.
Yeah, a lot of the room, like getting to dive into the rooms. I don't know the name of the room, but where they like throw the dead bodies into the,
the
lava pool.
Things. Pit holes. Lava pits. I don't know. I love those.
Even the higher powers rooms. What are their names?
Councilman.
Yeah,
Councilman.
Like Mark Ruffalo. He's like he didn't get elected, so that's why he's leading this.
Pretty sure he's a councilman.
Something like that. Yeah. But like when they're up for dinner in his room, like you can see like they've got it good.
You want to talk about the most I laughed in the movie, by the way? It's whenever they're praying, and you know, I couldn't tell if Mickey was just so hungry he just was shaking because he wanted to eat, or if he was going to be sick. And then whenever he gets sick, it's funny. But while they're just sitting there just trying to pray in silence, saying the nicest things to Jesus, he's sitting there like trying to hold in the
Then they start dancing while they're singing the song, and Mickey's just like...
He's still sitting in the chair, hand held up.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, comedy's good too.
Comedy's good. Austin didn't notice it, I guess, but one of my favorite, or maybe it was you, I don't know. One of my favorite scenes I talked about yesterday after we watched the movie is at the end of the movie whenever they're announcing that they're abolishing the what is it, the Copy and Paste Act? What's the
copy machine or whatever?
Whatever. And if you look at the women, like 85% of them are pregnant sitting in the because they have to start repopulating.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a pretty funny, sly, like quick
little
gag.
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of good laughs. It was just a really good watch.
Absolutely.
Really cool concept of a film.
Yeah, great concept.
It was a movie I was pretty excited for, too. I was bummed when it got delayed last year.
Me too.
And then we got it shot up a month this year because it swapped places with Sinners. And I was like, oh, here we go. We get to see it early March. And
God, how weird.
I'm not saying it should have the biggest presence at award season. I'm just saying I hope it doesn't get snubbed like another movie did last year that came out this time.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it is unfortunate that like March gets buried for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's
literally a week after last year's Academy Awards, so by the next one, they're like,
My top 3 favorite movies all came within the last 4 years, and the last 3 years, and they all came in at March, and they all got shit on.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping with how this past, not what this episode's about, but I'm hoping with this past Academy Awards, there's a conversation had with the voting process, the nomination process. I mean, because a lot was surfaced this year that pisses you off as a fan.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I definitely screamed at my TV last weekend. Yeah.
But nonetheless, we're here for Mickey 17.
For sure. I'd love to see it there. I love Pattinson. There's so much to love about it. Yeah. There's even, I know a lot of people love Bong Joon-ho.
He makes horror films, but
I was gonna say Bong Joon-ho for his horror stuff.
Yeah.
And it's not really horror stuff. It's just that he always sneaks it in at weird moments, and it like comes out of nowhere. And like, there's a scene where he's having a dream about Toni Collette, and like that
very eerie.
It creeped me out for sure. I was kind of confused. I was like, how is this possible? Oh, right, dream sequence.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've always had like a weird thing. I love like creepy dream sequences. That's like a weird. I hate saying kink. I keep saying kink for this shit, but it's like a guilty pleasure for me. I love that stuff.
Yeah. But overall, just a pretty good movie.
Good movie.
Set in the future, and we still see a little bit of corruption in the political landscape, and it's basically them taking that over.
Absolutely, and it's great.
Yeah,
it's great. And what we should also mention, great score, yes, on top of that, but great sound, which we got to experience firsthand, thanks to a friend of ours, Blake.
Yeah, shout out Blake, man. Yeah, getting us D-box seats.
Getting some D-box first time.
So we got to experience the shakes and rattles of the ship.
Oh, man.
Fight sequences.
Tell you what, 30 minutes in, turn that right down. Because I forgot I have, like, chronic vertigo. So I was like, oh, this is... I expected shaking, but I was like, oh, the chair's moving. I feel sick. Yeah. I'm going to turn that off.
Yeah. Feels like you're in like a roller coaster simulator.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. That was a little, but I loved it. Thank you, Blake.
Yeah, good sound for sure. Anything else in the good?
Nope.
Okay. So we'll hop over to the meh. I'll start the meh with I don't have anything in the bad. For the most part, this was a very, very good film.
I don't think I have anything in the bad either.
I wanted a little more with Kai.
Yeah.
I was kind of digging the compromise that was going on under the stairs when they were like, you get Mickey 18 and you get Mickey 17. I was like, okay.
I wanted to see it go that route.
I'm here for it
because I like both relationships. So yes, I wanted to see them both.
I liked both relationships too, and I liked that Mickey 18, once he did the oxy whatever, pure or whatever, that he was becoming more, chilled out and more cool with the idea of 17 staying alive. I was like, okay, we'll get two guys with Nasha is her name.
Yeah, Nasha
and Kai, but then when he had the room with Kai and they were talking about 17 and splitting, I was like, that'd be cool, kind of like getting two relationship dynamics. It's like those four are a team type of feel. I would have been interested to see where that would have went.
I also just thought it was going that way because 17 felt kind of betrayed at the fact that she was having sex with 18.
Well, that, and I thought it'd be cool too because you feel really bad for Kai when she loses her best friend, and Kaya is a really good character.
She needs a win.
Yeah, so you're kind of rooting for her at that point. Like, oh, she's going to get 17. That'll be kind of cool, And she helped him out with what I can imagine in our world is ginger ale to help the upset stomach. But I don't know. I was kind of digging that idea. So I put that in the meh because I feel like I wanted more with Kai.
Yeah, she obviously also like had been into him for a while because she sits down next to him and is kind of giving the googly eyes. So
yeah. Then my other meh, I'd probably put the first act. Not all of it, but there was just moments where it was getting kind of boring. I mean, we didn't get our title sequence till like 40 minutes in the movie. That was like...
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
I don't know. Boring is the wrong word. I just felt like there were... No, boring might be the right word. There was moments where I was like, oh, I hope this like picks up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. I don't think I felt as strongly about that as you, but I definitely, like, once it hit a certain point, it's really just the point where you get 18 and 17. Yeah. That's a point where I was like, oh, now I'm really having fun.
Yeah, and that comes after the title card.
I think that's when my expectations started to get, like, met, really.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. Everything before that's cool as far as world building goes, but there's just moments where it's kind of dragging on, and it's not the worst first act. Like I definitely don't think it's bad.
I don't even think it's bad or
but there's just moments where I'm like, okay, let's get to what we're looking for. And I think part of it had to also be with the "You're Wondering How I Got Here" opening.
Yeah, see, that's what I've never loved movies that do that.
Yeah,
like that's not true. I loved it like when Deadpool kind of. That was like
the first time we were
really kicking it off.
Yeah.
At least from what I'd seen. And then like Birds of Prey did it. And then it just like, it felt like so many movies that I watched ended up doing that. And I'm kind of sick of it now. Yeah. I don't love that anymore.
You take that out, you're sitting closer to 2 hours. I think it runs a little smoother. I'm not going to say the pacing's in the mech because like once we get the ground running, the pacing is really well.
Yeah, it's great from then on. Yeah.
But just that first act, I think things could have been changed. I guess that would have maybe enhanced the view for me.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. There's definitely room for improvement still, but like I'm still gonna buy it when it comes out for sure.
And then I hate putting this in the because, like I said, they did a great job. Some of the over top cartoony stuff did.
Yeah.
Go a little too far.
I know you weren't loving that. Yeah.
But it still wasn't enough to kill the movie. I still thoroughly enjoyed this movie. But that's really it for me. That's like the three gripes I guess I have.
Yeah, and that's
I don't think I have anything to gripe with on the technical side.
The only other gripe that I really have is, I guess I heard you say gripe twice, and I'm saying it.
Yeah, it's a good word.
It's whenever the creepers are talking to Mickey. Whenever the lead creeper is talking to Mickey, that first conversation, I think it does start to drag for me. And also, maybe it was just me. I was having a hard time understanding what the creeper was saying.
I would agree with that.
So
as far as understanding it, subtitles would have been really nice right there.
Yeah, see, that's what I was saying. If there were subtitles, I wouldn't have had any issues with it at all. But I was like, man, I could use some subtitles.
Yeah, some clear, precise words. Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely, I think the snowstorm had to play a lot in that too, because you get to hear the sound of the snowstorm, whereas when they conversate the next time, they're underground doing the planting stuff, and it's very quiet, so you hear them a lot better. But yeah, that's really it. So we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What do you want to leave off with Mickey 17, and what do you give it out of 10?
I mean, in general, I had high expectations for it. I feel like those expectations were met, and not only just met, they were changed. Because I don't think I was expecting this to be as funny as it was.
Okay.
So it leveled up in that way. There wasn't as much drama as I was expecting, but I wasn't mad at it because I enjoyed what it ended up being versus what I thought it was going to be so much. I think I like what it is better than what I had in my head. Not by a lot, but I genuinely loved it. I think I do want to see it again.
For sure.
And I've really had a hard time ranking it in the movies I've seen this year so far. Not just, older movies and new releases. Yeah. I have no idea where to put it. But, I mean, all in all, I think it's great. I think Pattinson is... Honestly, his performance in this might have moved him up to, like... I'm speaking kind of early, but it might be, like, number one. It's definitely top 3 by now.
Yeah. But Pattinson was great, man.
He's so good. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off with a nice, crisp 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10? I am also going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. When I left the theater, I was between a 7 and an 8. And I think the more I think on it, the conversation should have been 8 to 9. But I can safely say I'd give this movie an 8 out of 10. I think there's... With the first act stuff and the over-top cartoony, it's hard to give it a 9. But I just think it's way too well done technically. And it's a very entertaining story, and Robert Pattinson alone,
so
I think all warrant the 8 out of 10 at least.
It's one of those movies that, like, it's not perfect, but it does hit all of those corners, all those boxes. Like, emotional moments, good comedy, good action, like, good cinematography, good sound. Just, like, it was also just a good experience. Like, it's not often I watch a movie that I forget the rest of the world. But genuinely, I was so locked into this, I forgot the rest of the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I love that.
You know, when it comes to science fiction, world building is a big part, and too that was done really well as well.
Yeah, it was great. I think the universe built out is great. I might even read the book because now I'm pretty interested. Yeah. So I might give the book a chance.
There you go. You have to let me know how it is because I'm not a big reader. I'd love to start reading. It's just.
You know what, man? I say that honestly. I'll be honest. I'm probably not gonna read it. I just know how I am. But right now I'm interested in reading it.
So. I've promised my Uncle Rob if I ever decide to pick up reading, I think Jaws or Jurassic Park will be my first read.
I had a feeling.
He's told me that those are both very good books. Which I love the movies, so I have no doubt that I'd enjoy the books.
But I'm not gonna give you any shit because my favorite book series came straight from my favorite movie. Yeah. So,
but. Yeah, man, Mickey 17, pretty good film. Hopefully, its release date doesn't hurt it too much when award season conversation rolls around.
Unfortunately, it plagued my mind pretty quickly once the experience was over. I was like, oh, no one's going to pay attention to this. Yeah. It's a shame. But they might, though, just because Bong Joon-ho, the last movie he made, did win the Oscar for Best Picture in 2020. So maybe for that reason alone,
it's going to get It's going to catch the eyes.
A boost.
Yeah, for sure. That'll do it for Mickey 17. Kory, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Go check out all 6 Halloween reviews that Kory and I just did. If you like the Halloween franchise, they're really fun to watch. And let us know what you thought of Mickey 17 in the comments. We'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.